This is Daily Struggles. Happy Friday, everyone. It is Friday. I want to start with gratitude because I know that's important for my recovery. So currently I'm thankful for the ability to go to work right now. My higher power has provided me the transportation in order to go to work and the circumstances in order to do that. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that I still have my dog. I'm grateful that mental illness has not taken my dog away from me yet. I'm grateful that I have enough means to get to said job. So really just, it is a struggle, but I'm still doing it. And that's what I want to reiterate to myself and say that I'm grateful for myself, for all the hard work that myself and everyone else in the system is putting in just to stay afloat. And how today and this morning has been really good. Yeah, I went for a walk with our dog and learned about community events that were in the community around us, and that was pretty exciting. We don't really get to go to them because we work this weekend, but it's still there, and that still counts. And just the creative juices have been flowing this morning. That's what I currently wanted to talk about in this podcast. Thank you for listening. This is the CarCast version. This is Daniel. And I'm currently driving to work. And I just wanted to be honest, I wanted to make a goals podcast of current goals that I know I want to achieve, and I know that whoever comes, if they want to share, any other alter who's willing to come and join me on this CarCast, please feel free. Just want to put that out there. And right now, I'm driving through the countryside, and it is beautiful. I also want to be grateful for that. And my goals. I'm going to start really small. My current goal is to get to work. And then after that, it's my objective, because that's really important to me, is not just creating a goal, but creating something tangible that allows myself to achieve that goal. So I'm currently in the car. So that is my objective, is to drive as safely as possible to said destination. And I'm currently en route, so that means something. I'm doing it. So I just want to acknowledge myself for that. A little bit longer term goal for me is to make it to therapy on Monday. I hope that we make it to therapy on Monday so that we can continue on our journey of recovery. And the objective for that is I'm going to drive us there. I'm going to have enough gas and take care of our dog enough that we can go to said place and get the therapy that we need. And I've listened to the recordings, and wow, what happened yesterday in general was pretty intense. I'm going to set a boundary here, and I'm going to be amazed at that. I'm not ready to share what happened yesterday in therapy, but I know that there is a couple alters that have been talking, so stay tuned, listeners. We are going to talk about some stories that we want to share, some struggles that they have been wanting to share. And so that is coming soon. That is not this current podcast, but because this one is focused on goals. So thanks for being on this journey with Thus, definitely hasn't been easy, but I know we have some long-term goals, so I'm going to move into some of those. Career-wise, we are a scientist, or have been, until mental illness and I want to say mental illness and epilepsy kind of took that away, as well as unfortunate circumstances that we were in a pretty bad relationship that kind of led down the wrong path and didn't set some boundaries. So I'm going to tell the story of how we got here today in the last year. So this has to do with goals, because my goal, unfortunately, is to get back to science. And this is Lionel. And I want to tell a story. So I'm going to do a quick story time here in the midst of goals. So my name is Lionel, and I'm 21. And I made a mistake. And that's what I want my kind of like segment to be focused on, is how mistakes hurt. If you make enough mistakes, it can really hurt your life. And I made one mistake, and I feel like I'm being punished for it. Several days, like over a year now. It's been over a year. And I was a scientist. I was a PhD student. Being a PhD student for 4 years of my life, I was so ecstatic. And unfortunately for me, it ended unexpectedly, abruptly. And that was because of epilepsy at the time. It was undiagnosed. And because of unfortunate, unforeseen circumstances with a certain person, it didn't feel safe. And because of DID, we also weren't diagnosed quite yet with DID, so it was just mental illness as well, just slamming the door in our face. And unforeseen, unfortunate circumstances. I don't know if anybody else can relate to this, but for me, I started reliving a lot of the past, and because of my mental illness and my disorder, I was unable at the time. And you don't know what you don't know, and I'm being, kind to myself with that. You don't know what you don't know. And at the time, I didn't know I had DID. I knew I had PTSD. I just started treatment for PTSD, thinking therapy could help. Oh, come on. And it did not. I wasn't ready. And I denial spiraled into depression. And after depression hits, it hits hard. And it hit me very hard. And I met some alters that really, when depression hits, our DID spirals. And we spiraled so fast. I think we went from PhD student, we had just done our prelims, so we were PhD candidate status, and that's really a big deal. We were about to graduate in a year, and just smack, hit the ground, face first. Left job for said job in a different state, hoping to build back up, but it was too much too fast. Went to that job. Epilepsy was still not under control. At the time, still not diagnosed. And because of trauma it made that really complicated for the physicians. They refused to put me on medication, so the seizures continuously got worse. It got to the point of having seizures every day, or at least one every day for a year and a half. And I just followed what the doctors said, and the doctors were talking about, I really think it's just the trauma, just go to therapy. And unfortunately for me, we just moved across the United States, didn't have a therapist, went through 25 consultations in a month, all of which failed. And we were asked to leave. We made a lot of them cry. And then the rest of them were like, that'll be way too much money that we couldn't afford. And at this time we were homeless. And rejected from most shelters because we had a dog. And this was real life. This was real life. And it really sucked. But it was real, and that's why I'm sharing it, because I just want to share a story. Give myself a voice. And so once we decided, unfortunately, we were in this said circumstance, our seizures were out of control, mental illness was out of control. We decided to go to treatment, thought that would be best, residential. We knew we were going to lose our job, so we were like, all right, we'll just quit, because that was our bright idea. Instead of talking to our employer, said, lesson learned, talk to your employer, don't just quit your job, thinking that COBRA's going to save you, because it doesn't. Felt bad, shame, because I couldn't, I just started this job and I couldn't do what was asked. So I felt responsible. I decided to take responsibility and told my employer, I'm sorry, but I quit, because I feel responsible for not being able to sustain this job. And that's not how I should have handled it. And, you don't know what you don't know. And I definitely learned a lesson that day after it was said circumstances that occurred after that, and so lost a really great job, really great scientist to this day. A lot of grief for that, a lot of shame. But it was true. I was homeless and sick and without medication. So that's how it went. Kind of bounced around for 3 months in my car, homeless, waiting for a job, and finally got one about 3 months later. And very upset because I'm not a scientist anymore. That's kind of where my story ends up, is I just have a lot of anger at myself. And anger is not a bad emotion. I know it gets a bad rap. It really does. But it means just a boundary was crossed. And I crossed a boundary with myself. I did. I quit. I think this is the first time I'm processing that. Because that's why I'm mad at myself. Because I quit. I shouldn't have quit. And now I'm kicking myself. Because of the current circumstance with science and institutions. I've been told, I haven't really followed. I'm not really a politics person. But unfortunate for me, I should have stayed because there's no jobs. There's no funding. Unless you fund yourself. And that's why I'm doing this YouTube channel. You know, I really want these proceeds to go towards science. And I don't know if I have to make a nonprofit or what, but that's my goal. Is to fund my own lab someday so that this doesn't happen again. And that's my goal. Because I want a nonprofit, my own research lab. I have the credentials. I have 2 degrees, not the 3rd. That's the PhD I'm hoping to get to, and I'm a year away. If I can find a lab to go to. That's my goal. Long-term goal is to be a professor. You know, I don't care where. You know, I really don't. I'm hoping it's UNC. It's my goal. And to not be funded government, but to be funded nonprofit. To fund myself. Because for-profit science, to me, is wrong. I mean, there are ways that you need it, but like, at the end of the day, it's too expensive. You know, I'm just here to do science. You know, I'm not in it for the money. I'm not. I mean, obviously, in the world that we live in, you need some sort of income. You know, and I understand that. But not the big market stuff. You know, I'm not pharma. I'm not, you know, I'm academia. I'm in it for the teaching. You know, I'm a teacher. I've taught microbiology. I've taught biochemistry. I've taught pretty much every biochemistry class you can think of. Infectious disease. I've gotten a lot of opportunities to teach, and I love it. And that's what I want. You know, that's my goal for myself, is to get back to it. You know, and it's not yet. That's what my higher power is definitely teaching me today. Is it's not today. And hard lesson learned. And I'm sorry. I don't know if she'll ever hear this, and I don't know if she'll ever know who I am, but to that scientist, I want to say I'm so sorry. I'm really messed up. And I'm really sorry. I really am. I was young, dumb, stupid, and broke. Just like the song. Young, dumb, and broke. And I was. And I was scared. And I thought for a second, you know, with my trauma response brain, that I could figure it out. And didn't think of the consequences. Did not. It was a trauma response, so it happened real quick. And I quit. I gave up on myself. And I'm so sorry to myself. I want to take this opportunity to apologize to myself, to Lionel, myself. I'm so sorry to me today, at this moment, that I gave up on myself. And I'm not going to do that again. And I don't care how long it takes. I don't care if I'm 85 years old. I'm going to get that PhD. And I'm going to fund my own lab and teach at an institution that I feel good about. And make science fun for people. That's what I'm here for. That's my aspiration. That's my vocation. Is to teach and to help make science fun and forget this weird barrier between the general population and scientists. Because science communication is so important. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Is whenever I'm trying to teach somebody something, whenever I'm talking about science and they're like, I can't do it, I can't understand. And I just look at them. And I don't care who it is, how old they are, and I look at them and I tell them, who told you that? Was it a teacher? And 9 times out of 10, it's a teacher. They hate science, or they think they can't do something because it was a teacher that told them. And I was like, listen, I tell them every time, I'm like, I'm here. And I can teach you. And that's my role as a teacher. And this is in the general population. This is, no matter what, this is science communication. It's my job as a scientist to help you understand in a way that you understand, period. And that is my firm belief. And that's what I want to share with YouTube today. I don't care how many views this gets. I just want to have my voice to be heard. Even if it's one student out there who never heard that before, I'm here for you. Period. And I hope to be your teacher someday. You know, and maybe someday. Again, I don't care if I'm 85. I'm going to do it. I'm that stubborn. I'm a stubborn fool. That's why I'm alive. You know, that's why I have DID. It's because I'm stubborn. That's how I see it. So right now, homeless, brink of homelessness. We have emergency funds that might go through. Maybe not. Brink of homelessness. That is literally where we're at. We have enough gas today to get us to work, period. We have a job. But man, is it hard. Man, is this hard. To have so much desire and passion, and the world just smacking you in the face and being like, not today. But, in my opinion, I have a choice. Do I look at that in a negative light or a positive light? And today, I'm choosing to be positive. Today, I'm choosing to be thankful for the job that I have, for being thankful for the car that I have, for being thankful for the current temporary home. Just like another song. Shout out. But I'm still doing it. You know, I'm still doing it. I'm not on the street yet. And if I am, I'm waving to all you people. I'm saluting all these people on the street. Because they're just trying to make it too. And that's all I'm trying to do. And that's all I see people as, is people are people, man. They're not good. They're not bad. They're not ugly. People are just people trying to make it. Because the world's hard. And that's where I'm at right now. Because I'm just trying to make it. So that's my story for the day. And those are my goals. And I just thank you for allowing me the space to share. And this is Lionel. And I'm 21. And I'm going to make it someday. I don't care. I'm going to make it, and it's not going to be stepping on people. It's going to be lifting them up. Thanks. Thank you, Lionel. This is Daniel. And I did not know that was going to happen. But I heard that. Or at least a part of it. I heard the end. That's just the ID. Wow. So that's, I think, all the time we have. We actually got a story today. I think from Lionel. I'll have to review the audio to be sure, but I heard him at the end. So I just want to say thank you for Lionel for sharing. And this is the end of the CarCast. We're about ready to work. So again, I achieved my goal, guys. Heck yeah. I achieved my goal of making it to work. So thanks for listening, and I hope to see you guys again real soon.